Okay, welcome to our presentation on pitch. We are Team Whole Story, and this is our team. Not all of us could be here today, but this was the team that worked on our solution. Whole Story helps patients and those around them to articulate their needs effectively to the GP. So meet Lorna. Lorna lives alone in Upper Crescent, South Belfast. Her brother has begun to notice something is off with her memory, and she has seen the GP by herself with no conclusive diagnosis. When the brother gently suggests that Lorna sees a doctor again, she insists nothing is wrong and changes the subject. So deep down, she might be frightened to admit that she's starting to forget things. Her brother says that she has had her bloods taken, but nobody has addressed the memory issues, so he's worried. So when something is hard to talk about, it becomes difficult to articulate your needs. Patient contact can be full of mixed emotions, resulting in poor communication and lack of understanding. So how might we empower patients to effectively articulate their needs to their doctor?
Okay, so we wanted to do this in a way that kind of had two streams to it. So one, how can I prepare for that consultation before I get there? So how can I think about my problems? So with the example there of Lorna, I'm now going to, we've got this platform and it allows the patient to speak with it naturally and for it to pull those things out so you can think about what's going to happen beforehand. So I want you to imagine now that you've just come off the phone with your GP, you've got your appointment booked for later today, and you get sent a link to Whole Story. Over to Lorna.
So I've been getting a bit more forgetful lately, just names and things, appointments, wee things like that. And I just put it down to the fact that I'm getting old and I really have too much on my mind. It worries me sometimes. Well, I do lose track of myself when I'm talking in conversation, but I'm just not going to think about it. It's not too serious. I just need the GP maybe to tell me something that would help keep my memory sharp.
So what we've been able to do there is the patient's been able to naturally we've been able to naturally converse with the platform, and this is why you don't do live demos. It's able to then pull out the information from there. You can review this summary, feed it back in. It's all using natural language processing. So say we want to use this platform. The next thing it allows me to do is add a collaborator. So this time we're going to bring in Brian, who's Lorna's brother, who can review what Lorna's said, but then also add to that story.
Lorna's memory has definitely got worse in the past year. She forgets whole conversations, repeats questions, and sometimes leaves things on like the cooker or taps in the bathroom. She brushes this off, but I'm worried, especially as our mother had dementia. I'd like the GP to look at this properly and see if there's an explanation or if I need to start getting some support in place.
So again, we've been able to see it pulls it through and we can add this to the story. Now importantly what this does then is goes back to the patient so they can review it. And they can see, so you can understand both what you've said, but it also potentially opens that conversation between yourself and those that are there to support you in the consultation to understand what's going on. And then we can submit that with consent from the patient to the GP. It then gives a nice little summary of what's happened in the patient concern and then breaks it down into ideas, concerns and expectations and potentially some symptoms pulled through at the bottom.
Okay, so by engaging with Whole Story ahead of her appointment, Lorna now feels better prepared. She can meet the doctor without feeling embarrassed, and with her consent, her brother has also helped give a bigger, clearer picture. So the impact of this is that it empowers patients, it involves families, and enables comprehensive and flexible family input. Thank you very much.
Well done. That was your last slide, just about?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well done. Don't take the 4 minutes very seriously. Doing a great job. Let's roll straight on with the questions. Any questions?
There's one here.
I was just going to ask, so congratulations, fantastic. What happens next? What does the patient do, or how does this information get to the person who's going to be hosting the appointment, or the doctor, for example?
So we'd like this to feed in. Now there's a couple of options this can go. So we think it's important that one side of the tool allows the patient just to think beforehand before you get in, because we've all been in an appointment where you sit down, well, what's wrong with you, you say, and then as soon as you leave you think, oh, I should have said that beforehand. So on one hand the tool can give you that list of things to talk about, but then also the next, I guess, progression is with your consent, you can push that to the GP. Now, obviously, we went round on this a little bit because there are concerns about, well, those things can automatically go onto a record and there can be implications there, and sometimes there are things GPs might leave out of records for certain reasons. So, but yeah, they're the sort of two streams we were looking at.
So could you just print this off in the first instance and take
Absolutely, yep, yeah. So that would be probably the prototype, and I think the next step would be to do that. So get this out, get it tested, user tested. Yes, have it printed out, see if it actually does what we claim it can do before you then go down the step of automating it and taking it that next step.
Congratulations on your pitch, and I think you're onto something here that is important. Obviously, patients as partners, and there's a lot of focus on that. I was just going to say something around what you've come up with. So is that, how do you see that interfacing with the GP digital triage systems that maybe are already in existence and allow some of this information to be captured already?
Yeah, so we also went around that. Now, there is potentially a version where this ends up as a triage tool, and we didn't want it to end up as that. We were very much, you are post-appointment. This is just to help you as the patient prepare for that appointment, to reduce that time, to go around that. We don't want it to be a triage tool, and that's sort of deliberate because then you get into it's pulling out symptoms,
so,
etc.
So you're basically saying you've already got the time, you're waiting on somebody to call you back, you're waiting to go down, and this is to help you get the most out of that.
Correct.
You've got 30 seconds.
Okay, I love it. As a GP, it's very important to get that sort of a collaborative story from the family. But who's driving this? This has been driven by the patient, has been driven by their family, or has been driven by the healthcare professionals?
I think it would. The idea initially would be in the trial site to get it sent out. So as soon as an appointment comes out, it comes with a link. So perhaps on the link that you get sent with a reminder or what's coming through, and then you kind of have to test and adjust from there. So that initial burden would be there.
Woo! Well done.